Equality is the most comforting lie humanity has ever told itself. Not because it is true, but because it feels fair. We repeat it like a prayer. All men are equal. All people deserve the same outcome. All differences are social, but nature has never agreed with this fantasy. From the moment you are born, inequality is written into you. Different minds, different limits, different hunger, different courage, and pretending otherwise does not make it disappear. It only blinds you to reality. 59. Equality assumes something impossible, that human beings want the same things, but they don't. Some people crave safety, some crave power, some crave comfort, some crave struggle. Some will risk everything for greatness. Others would rather kneel than suffer. You cannot equalize desire. You cannot equalize outcomes. The Stoics understood this long before modern society. They did not believe in equality of success. They believed in equality of responsibility. Marcus Aurelius never said, all men will be equal. He said, you are responsible for your own mind. Seneca never promised fairness. He promised discipline. Because the Stoics knew something we try to forget. You cannot distribute virtue like money. You cannot force courage into weak hands. You cannot inject discipline into lazy souls. Character is not transferable. 59. Nietzsche went further. He argued that equality was not a moral breakthrough, but a psychological strategy, a way for the weak to restrain the strong, a way for the fearful to shame the bold, a way for resentment to disguise itself as justice. Not because people are evil, but because people are afraid of difference. Difference exposes hierarchy. Hierarchy exposes failure, and failure is unbearable to most. So society invents a story. No one is better. No one is worse. We are all the same. But sameness is not peace. It is denial. Look at nature. Trees compete for sunlight. Animals establish dominance. Even ants form castes, not because they're cruel, but because life organizes itself by ability. The strong rise. The weak adapt. The system survives. Hierarchy is not political, it is biological, and humans are not exempt from biology. 59. Equality collapses the moment power appears. Machiavelli saw this clearly. Every system that claims equality creates rulers the instant authority is needed. Every equal group produces leaders the moment chaos appears. Because power does not disappear, it concentrates, not by law, but by competence. Those who decide, those who act, those who endure pressure. These become the center, and the rest orbit around them. 59. The modern world tries to flatten this reality. It says, everyone is the same, but then it secretly rewards discipline, intelligence, ruthlessness, endurance, vision, and punishes passivity, weakness, comfort, indecision. So it speaks equality, but enforces hierarchy. This contradiction is not accidental. It is unavoidable, because humans are unequal in will. 59. Equality fails because humans choose differently. So the truth is not that equality is evil. The truth is darker. Equality is imaginary. Hierarchy is inevitable, not because society is corrupt, but because human nature is unequal. And until we understand that, we will keep mistaking outcomes for injustice. The truth is darker. Equality is imaginary. Hierarchy is inevitable, not because society is corrupt, but because human nature is unequal. And until we understand that, we will keep mistaking outcomes for injustice, instead of seeing them as consequence. If equality were natural, it would already exist. But everywhere humans gather, rank appears. In schools, in friendships, in families, in prisons, in tribes, in corporations. Wherever people gather, someone leads, someone follows, and someone resents both. This is not a conspiracy. It is psychology. Equality assumes equal self-control, but humans are not equal in impulse. Some resist temptation, some surrender to it, some delay pleasure, some demand it immediately. This difference alone destroys equality, because discipline compounds. 1 year of restraint creates 10 years of advantage. 1 year of indulgence creates a lifetime of weakness. You cannot equalize impulse. The Stoics call this judgment. They believe suffering came not from events, but from interpretation. 2 men lose everything. One adapts, one collapses. Same event, different mind. Equality assumes identical reactions, but the mind is not uniform. Some minds endure pressure, some break under it. Some find meaning in pain, some drown in it. And systems cannot correct this. Nietzsche argued that morality itself was shaped by weakness, that those who could not dominate physically learned to dominate morally. They did not conquer through strength, but through guilt. They did not rise, they leveled. Equality became their weapon, not out of cruelty, but out of survival, because hierarchy hurts those at the bottom, and instead of climbing, many try to destroy the ladder. Machiavelli would agree. He understood that people do not seek equality, they seek safety. They will accept inequality if it brings stability, and they will destroy equality the moment it threatens comfort. Order matters more than fairness, because chaos terrifies the human animal. Even when equality is enforced, hierarchy reappears informally, through influence, through charisma, through control of resources, through manipulation, through fear. If rank is forbidden, it becomes invisible, but it does not vanish. Think of children. No one teaches them hierarchy, and yet some dominate games, some submit, some negotiate, some retreat. Hierarchy emerges before language, because hierarchy is behavioral, not ideological. Equality fails because it ignores appetite. Some people want more power, more knowledge, more dominance, more risk. Others want peace, predictability, comfort. These two types cannot be equal because they are not moving in the same direction. One climbs, one settles, and distance appears. The lie of equality is that it blames systems for differences that come from choice. But systems do not create courage. They do not create hunger. They do not create vision. They can reward it. They can suppress it, but they cannot manufacture it. So inequality persists because people are not psychologically symmetrical. Some tolerate pain, some avoid it. Some seek meaning, some seek distraction. Some build, some consume. And from these differences comes structure. From structure comes rank. From rank comes inequality. You can change laws. You can change institutions. You can change language. But you cannot equalize will. And without equal will, there is no equal outcome. Every society that promises equality eventually produces elites. Not because the promise was evil, but because reality is stronger than ideology. You can outlaw hierarchy, but you cannot outlaw human nature. Hierarchy returns because someone must decide. When danger appears, someone gives orders. When chaos spreads, someone organizes. When resources shrink, someone controls distribution. Power concentrates where pressure concentrates, and pressure selects for strength. Machiavelli observed this coldly. He did not ask, "What is fair?" He asked, what works, and what works is hierarchy. Because leadership requires inequality. One voice above many. One will over chaos. One command over hesitation. Equality is fragile. Order is heavy. And humans choose order when survival is threatened. Even revolutions recreate hierarchy. They destroy rulers and crown new ones. Not because people love tyranny, but because power cannot remain empty. Vacuum invites domination. Nietzsche saw this as tragic. He believed modern morality was an attempt to deny hierarchy, to make weakness sacred, to make mediocrity moral, to make suffering noble. But denying hierarchy does not end it. It disguises it. The weak rule through numbers, the resentful rule through language, the fearful rule through laws. Power changes shape. It does not disappear. The Stoics took a different view. They accepted inequality of position, but demanded equality of discipline. You may be rich or poor, high or low, but your mind is your responsibility. This is the only equality that exists. Equal obligation to mastery, not equal reward. Equality collapses because humans compete. Even when forbidden, competition moves underground. For status, for beauty, for influence, for virtue, for victimhood. Hierarchy simply changes currency, from strength to morality, from dominance to narrative, from power to approval. But it always returns. The real danger of equality is not that it fails. It is that it hides hierarchy while pretending it does not exist, which makes it harder to see and harder to challenge. Invisible rulers are more dangerous than visible ones because they deny their power while exercising it. So the truth is not equality is evil. The truth is equality is incomplete. It ignores difference, discipline, desire, risk, sacrifice, and these shape destiny. You cannot make men equal, but you can make them responsible. You cannot flatten nature, but you can master yourself. And this is the final irony. Equality fails in the world, but succeeds in the soul. Because while men will never be equal in power, they can be equal in accountability. And that is the only equality that does not collapse